So let's talk about the case object a little. So case object is part of Service Cloud, and it is primarily used to manage the cases that would come from the website, that can come from the email, any concerns that your customers are having with your organization. So these are basically cases. Let's say you are an appliance company, then the appliance is not working anymore. So then people would raise a case with you, and then you would assign it to an engineer who would go and check that particular appliance. Let's say if you are with a bank, then they want a new checkbook. Let's say their net banking password is not working, their app is not working. So in that scenarios, you would get certain cases from your customers. There are multiple ways how the cases can be created in Salesforce. We'll talk about that as well. But let's see how a case looks like and how you can play around with it. So case is a standard object. So you can, add new fields to it, custom fields, you can create record types, and you can assign page layouts as well. This is a standard how it looks like when you log in for the first time. We have the feed section here. You have the call logs, text post, and status changes feed here. And this is the detail section of the case. Precisely says the case owner, case number. This is an auto number field. Who is the contact who has raised this case or who is associated here. Then what type of case it is. And then what is the case origin and the case status. So case status is a very important field and it's a required field. Okay. This case status can also form your case path. So you can use that, and case origin, you can select the origin as well. So these are a couple of things which are very important. You can use your cases. Certain organization use cases as your administrative tickets as well. So as an admin, as your user, I'm facing an issue, I can email you, and that would create a case in Salesforce for you to pick up. Once you work on it, you can resolve the case and let me know that your ticket has been worked on. Right, so these are a couple of things how case would look like in Salesforce and how you can use it. You can also send emails from within the case as well, and you can create tasks and logs, and everything can be done here. Next, we talk about how do users can create a case in Salesforce. So one is that they call you and you create the case for them within Salesforce. Second is it could be a web to case, very similar to web to lead. So you go onto setup, search for case, and click web to case. And then you do these settings, you click save. Right, you set up the settings for web to case, and then you go to web to case HTML generator. You set the fields here that you want. So obviously we want the contact name, the email address, the phone, the subject, and the description, what exactly is going wrong. You can put the return URL. We don't want to include the CAPTCHA, and we want to keep the language as English. Click generate, and this would give you the similar HTML like we saw earlier. We'll go to your tool of choice, which would be a notepad or something similar. I'm using Sublime here, and then I'll call it web to case. Remember to save it as .html and click save. Close it. When I do a double click here, this would actually bring me to this web form. What I'll do is I'll put my name here, I'll put my email address, let me put a number here, a random number. I'll put the subject as incorrect name, and let me put a description. The name on your records is incorrect. Okay, can you please update it? And click submit. So this brings back us to our website. And now if we go in Salesforce and see cases, so if you say all open cases, we have a new case coming for us, which is incorrect name, and this is created from the website. That's how you create your web to case, which is very similar to how you create web to lead. There's also a very interesting feature which is called email to case, which I was saying earlier, and you would be thinking how to do that. So you go in setup and click on search for case and select email to case here. Then we click continue, and it would give you a setting option like this here. So what you need to do is you need to click edit and you need to enable email to case. That is the first thing. You can also check notify case owners on new emails. That could be done, or you can uncheck that. Enable HTML emails. So Salesforce can digest HTML email addresses as well. So you should set that, because you never know how the user is sending the email. Save email to case attachments as files. So if user is sending an attachment, because when you are accepting an email, the user has liberty to do a lot of things within that email. So you can use that attachments as Salesforce files. If you as business decide not to accept any files, then keep this file, this check, unbox, this thing unchecked. Then send emails from cases. You can send emails from cases and keep the thread ID as same, and place user signatures before email thread. So you can do that. If as a user you can set up a signature within Salesforce, and that would automatically be added if you check this box. Otherwise it won't be. This is an on-demand service which you might require to do if your email is behind a network firewall. But in our case, we don't want to do it. But as a business, if your email is behind a firewall, then you might need to use this. So for that, you might have to get in touch with your desktop services team, technology team, who would help you with, who actually manages your email address. They can help you with that. Let's click save here. So these are the settings. Once that is done, we would select routing addresses. So let's click new here. Let's call routing name as training. Let's call it training. And the email address, I'll put my email address. You can put your email address as well. And save email addresses, save email headers. So we can save the email header which is coming from. And then we would set the case owner. So we can set the case as user or a queue. If you create a queue, then you can set a queue as well. I'll just put myself. And you can also define the case priority, which is coming from the email. Let's keep it medium, and case origin, we would set it up here as email. Now, the email to case routing email address must be different from then the case owner's email address. Let's do one thing. Let's create a queue here first. Let's create a case queue. Let's call it case queue. We don't want to give and assign it to supported objects case, and click save. So we have this queue with us now. Let's go to email. Let's search for case, and we'll find email to case here. Don't show me this page again. And then we click new. Let's call it training and mine, and save email address and send it to a queue. And we would select the queue here as case queue, medium priority, email, save. The email routing address will not be activated unless it is verified. You must verify this email address to ensure system security. Clicking save sends an email to the specified address with the directions on how to verify the change. So basically the email address that you would put here would get a verification email, and you need to verify that email in order to get this activated. So let's click OK. So I need to put a different email address here. I'm just putting another email address. You can try your email address or one of your friends' email addresses. And now this would have actually sent out an email to me, and I've got this email address, says verify your email routing. So what you need to do is you need to click on this link, and this would verify the link. It says email changed, and that's it. This would actually log you back into Salesforce. And once you come here and refresh this page, right, so you would see the status as verified. Now go back to email setup. So basically, any email that would come to this email address now would automatically create a case in Salesforce. To see how interesting this is. If you have any questions, you can join the QA session, which happens every Friday. And please drop in your comments, feedback, and any questions in the comment section, and I'll get back to you.